Are you a homeowner on the reservation and ever wondered what your home is worth? Stick around, we're going to talk about appraisals. Hey guys, my name is Chris Billy. I'm the Executive Director for the Tribal Homeownership Coalition of the Southwest. Our primary mission is to increase homeownership in tribal communities and to educate tribal members on how they can become a homeowner on the reservation. Today we're going to talk about two different types of appraisals. One is going to be the comparable market analysis and the other is going to be the cost approach. Now, whenever you order an appraisal or you want to understand the value of your home, you are going to hire an appraiser. Now, this is for folks who live on reservation. If you live off reservation, any real estate professional, licensed realtor will help you understand what your home is actually worth. But on reservation, it's a completely different system. Now, we don't have historical data, which typically is a database that many real estate agents, brokers, and appraisals will utilize to determine your home value. So let's dive into this a little bit, shall we? Now, we've got a comparable market analysis. Comparable market analysis typically means that throughout the market, there are actually other homes within your community that we can pull numbers from. A comparable market analysis is usually set by the other sales that have been sold in that area. Now, as a licensed real estate agent, if I'm going to do a comparable market analysis, I'm going to look at the history of that area. I'm going to pull homes that are very much like the subject property, and I'm going to compare apples to apples the best that I can. And I'm going to formulate my professional opinion on what that home is worth. Appraisers do something very similar, except they have a much more extensive data set that they are able to pull from. Appraisers will actually be able to assign value based on amenities, upgrades, location, style, and really what the market demands are. And in that sense, they are going to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. They're going to be able to give you a much more accurate number with what they believe your home is worth. Now, when we go on to the reservation and we start looking at a comparable market analysis, it's a very different story. Now, the data set that appraisers are able to utilize don't exist within the reservation. Why is this? Because those systems aren't set up. When properties are typically sold on the reservation, they're not recorded with the county. They're not recorded with the MLS. But we at the coalition are actually trying to change that. So if you want to learn more about the comparative process and the work that we are doing, absolutely check out the QR code or hit the link on this video. And you'll find our case study where we actually had a public sale that was recorded with the county and recorded in the MLS on tribal trust land. However, the appraisal process that is most used on the reservation is the cost approach. So what is a cost approach? A cost approach essentially is an appraiser coming out and looking at what it costs to build that same house with the cost of today's materials. The caveat to using a cost approach is that unfortunately, they are going to depreciate the home over the age of the structure. So for instance, if you look at our case study, when I helped this family, we initially valued the home at $188,000. Now, an appraiser came in and they came up with a very similar number, but because of the age of the home and the technique that they used, they were obligated to depreciate the home over the age of the structure. So we went from $185,000 down to $155,000. Now, depending on where you live and if there is market data accessible, you have two options. One is a comparable market analysis, or two, cost approach. Typically, if you're in the reservation and you're on the interior and there's no database, you're most likely going to be using a cost approach. Now, understanding, does your home have market value? Well, absolutely take a look through our videos, and I've got another video on market value. If you found this video helpful, then absolutely like and follow for more.